Hello my student. In that lesson we talk about the heart. In the last lesson we talk about the circulatory system. We start with introduction. In introduction we talk about the function of circulatory system in the body, and we say there are many functions of circulatory system, such as transportation of oxygen, absorb nutrients and hormone to the body tissue, and transportation of waste materials product to the excretory system, and distribution the heat in the body by means of blood and lymph vessels. Yes, and we talk about blood circulatory system and lymphatic circulatory system. A circulatory system divided into blood circulation system and lymphatic circulation system. And we talk about blood, structure of blood. Blood consists of two parts, that is plasma and blood cells. Plasma and blood cells. Blood cells, there are three types of blood cells, that is red blood cells, or it's called erythrocyte, white blood cells, or called leukocyte, and blood platelets. Yes, in this lesson we talk about the heart. The heart. Yes. What is the heart? Heart is a conical muscular organ. Conical muscular organ found in the chest cavity. Found in the chest cavity between the lungs. This is the location or position of the heart in the body. Now, what is the location of the heart in the body? Heart found in the chest cavity between the lungs, slightly to left. Slightly to left. You can feel heartbeats in the left region between the 5th and 6th ribs. Yes, why? Because the heart is found in the chest cavity between the lungs, slightly to left. For that we can feel the heartbeats in the left region between the 5th and the 6th ribs. Yes, this is from inside. From outside, heart is surrounded by a double membrane. What does that mean, double membrane? That means membrane consists of two parts, or consists of two other membranes. Yes, this double membrane called pericardium. Now, what is pericardium? Pericardium is a double membrane which surrounded a heart from outside, and there is a fluid between these two membranes. This fluid decreases the friction and provide the working of heart easily. Now, what is the function, or what is the important? What is the important of pericardium? Pericardium, or what is the important of the fluid that's found between the that's found in pericardium? This fluid decreases the friction and provide the working of heart easily. We can ask in other way. We can ask, who is responsible for? Who is provide the working of heart easily? We can say the fluid which found between the two membrane of pericardium. Who is prevent the friction in pericardium, or decrease the friction in pericardium, because there is a two membrane in membrane in pericardium. Yes, this fluid decreases the friction and provide the working of heart easily. Yes. Anatomically, the heart consists of two sides. Yes. Heart consists of two sides, right and left. Right side and left side. These sides are separated by a muscular wall, or called septum. And each side is divided into two chambers. Each side contain of two chambers, atrium and ventricle. So the heart is composed of four chambers, two atria and two ventricles. Yes, that is very important. Anatomically, the heart consists of two sides, right side and left side. These two sides are separated by a muscular wall called septum. Now, define septum. We can say the septum is a muscular wall which separated between the right side and the left side of the heart, and divided into, and each side divided into two chambers, each side. Each one have atrium and ventricles. What does that mean? That means in the right side we can say the right atrium and the right ventricles. In the left side, the left atrium and the left ventricles. For that, so the heart is composed of four chambers, two atrium and two ventricles. Now, let us to talk about these chambers. The first chambers are called atria. Atria are small chambers found at the top of the heart. Yes, that means the top of each side of the heart, and they have thin walls. The walls of the atrium is thin. Yes, ventricles are bigger chambers, different from the atrium. Atrium are small, ventricles are bigger chambers, found at the lower part. Atrium found at the upper part of the lower part of the heart, and they have thick walls. Atria have thin walls, ventricles have thick walls. Atria and ventricles are separated from each other by valves in each side. What does that mean? The right atrium separated from the right ventricles by a valve, and the left atrium is separated from the left ventricles by a valve. Now let us to talk about these valves that separated from the atria and ventricles in each side. The first valve is called a tricuspid valve. Tri, that means three. Tricuspid valve is found in the right side of the heart. It is separated between right atrium and right ventricles. Why? Because it's found in the right side. It has three cusps, for that it's called in this name. Tri, that means three. Tri. Why called in this name? Because it have three cusps. So that it is known as tricuspid valve. Why called in this name? Why called tricuspid valve? The valve is found between the right side of the heart is called tricuspid. Why? Because have three cusps. Very easy. It contains or controls. What is the function of a tricuspid valve? It controls the flow of blood from atrium to ventricles. This is the function. It controls the flow of blood from atrium to the ventricles. Yes. The second valve is called mitral valve, or called bicuspid valve. Bi, that means two, from two. Bi is found in the left side of the heart. It is separated between the left atrium and the left ventricles. Yes, right. This is right, is not true, false. left, because it's found in the left side of the heart. It has only two cusps, so that it's known as mitral valve or bicuspid. Why is called in this name? Why called di or mitral? Because it have only two cusps. What is the function of the mitral valve? It to prevent the backflow of blood. To prevent the backflow of blood. Yes. The third valves is called semilinear valves. Semilinear valves are two valves. One of them is found between the left ventricles and aorta. Aortic valve is called aortic valves. Aorta is the largest artery in the body, and it is open in left ventricle. In the beginning of the aorta found valve. The other is found between the right ventricles and pulmonary artery, pulmonary valve. Pulmonary artery is found in the right side of the heart in the right ventricles. What is the function of these two valves? They prevent the backflow of blood into the right and the left ventricles from the aorta and the pulmonary artery. Now, listen to me. When I ask you, what is the function of the aortic valves? Only aortic valves. What you say? Can you say? You can say they prevent the backflow of blood into the right or left. Yes. Now we say left ventricles. Why? Because we talk about the aortic, and the aortic valves is found in the beginning of the aorta, which open in the left ventricles. Now, if I ask you about pulmonary valve, they prevent backflow of blood into the right ventricles. Why? Because the pulmonary valve open in the right ventricles. Is that clear? When we talk about these two, aortic valves and pulmonary valves, all of them, it's called semilinear valves. Yes, now we have three types of valves found in the heart. Tricuspid valves in the right side of the heart, mitral valves or bicuspid valve that's found in the tricuspid valve that's found in the right atrium and the right ventricles. Mitral valve in the left side from the left atrium and right and left ventricles. Semilinear valves, there are two valves that's found in the beginning of aorta and pulmonary. That's called aortic valve and pulmonary valves. Yes. Yes, now we have other things that's called heartbeats. What is heartbeats? Can you feel of your heartbeat in any way? Yes, we can say. The contraction and relaxation of the heart are called heartbeats. Now, what is heartbeat? The contraction and relaxation, because the heart is muscle, and the muscle have ability to contract and relax. The contractions and relaxations of the heart is called heartbeats. The number of heartbeats in healthy person is about 72 beats. 72 beats in anyone in the healthy person. In a minute, in 1 minute. In resting. Yes. Yes. Now, this is about the heart. Now let us to talk about the blood vessels. Yes, because circulatory blood circulation consists of heart and blood vessels and the blood, we can see. Blood vessels, there are 3 types of blood vessels in the human body. 3 types. These types are arteries, veins, capillaries. 3 types. Let us to talk about the first one, which called arteries. What is arteries? They transport the blood from the heart to the body organs. Now, what is the function of arteries? Main function. They transport blood from heart to body organs. Yes, all arteries, that is very important. The next. All arteries transport oxygenated blood. Oxygenated. What does that mean, oxygenated blood? Oxygenated blood means a blood contain oxygen more than carbon dioxide. Oxygenated blood from oxygen, yes. Except the pulmonary arteries. Why? Why except pulmonary arteries? Because pulmonary arteries transported the blood from the heart to the lungs to be oxygenated, to become oxygenated. For that, the blood is unoxygenated blood or deoxygenated blood, don't have oxygen. And the color of this blood is bright red. Bright. Why? We can say why. Why the blood that's found in arteries, in all arteries except pulmonary artery, is bright. Bright, that means don't bright, don't dark. Yes, and they are, yes, and I want this answer, this question. I want to answer this question. Why the color of blood that's found in arteries are bright red? Arteries are fibrous muscular tubes, and they have thick walls. The walls of arteries are thick. They are located deeply in the body, except radial artery. Yes, radial artery is not found deeply in the body. We can feel it. That's located at the corpus, which is found under the skin. Physician can feel the patient's pulse from radial artery. Why? Because it is not found deeply in the body. Blood flow is provided, that is very important. Wow, blood flow, when blood flow in arteries is provided with the pressure. Pressure from what? This pressure formed by ventricular contractions in arteries. We can ask why the blood flow is provided with the pressure in arteries. Who can answer? Why the blood flow is provided with the pressure in arteries? We can ask why, and the answer is because this pressure formed by ventricular contraction in arteries. And the cutting of any artery causes loss of a great amount of blood, and stopping this bleeding is very difficult. Now you can show this this picture of artery and the layers. There are many layers. External elastic lamina, smooth muscles, tunica medial, lumina. Yes, there are 4 or more than 4 layers that consist the wall of the artery, and we say the walls of artery are thick. This about. Now listen, who can remember what about the arteries, the properties of arteries? We can remember the arteries are thick walls. The blood that's found in arteries are bright red and oxygenated blood. Yes, it's found deeply in the body, and the blood flow inside the arteries is provided with the pressure. And we ask why? Because this pressure formed by ventricular contractions in arteries. Yes, this is about arteries. Veins. What is veins? They transport the blood from body tissue to the heart. Yes, arteries transported blood from heart to the body tissue. Veins transported blood from body tissue to the heart. All veins transported deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood. What does that mean? Deoxygenated. That means blood without, or not. We cannot say without, but the carbon dioxide is more than the oxygen. We can say that. Their walls are thinner and less elastic than the walls of arteries. Thinner and less elastic from arteries. Veins are closer to the body surface. What does that mean? That means it's not found deeply in the body, such as arteries. The color of deoxygenated blood is blush red. Why? Blush red, that's dark red. We can say dark red. Yes. Why? We say why the blood in arteries are the blood is bright in arteries, and here we say why the color of deoxygenated blood is blush red in the veins. They are small valves. Small valves inside the veins. Why there are valves, small valves in the veins? Why? Because, or to prevent backflow of blood, because there is no pressure, such as arteries. There is no pressure in veins which provide blood flowing. For that, it's need to this valve, because there is no pressure provide blood flowing. The flowing of blood in the veins is slow. Why? Because there is no pressure. So when it's cut, the bleeding can be stopped easily. Now show this picture about artery and veins and the difference between them. The same of the layers, but they are different from the structure of these layers. Blood capillaries. The third type of blood vessels are blood capillaries. They are microscopic vessels. That means very tiny vessels between the ends. Where is found? Found between the ends of arteries and the beginning of the veins. Their walls are very thin. Yes, because it is microscopic vessels, and they have no muscles. What does that mean? They have no muscles. Does that mean there is a muscles in artery and muscles found in veins? Yes, there is muscles. Smooth muscles found in artery and smooth muscles found in veins, but no muscles found in blood capillaries. Yes. Also, their walls are covered by a single layered epithelial cell. Single. The flowing of blood in the blood capillaries is slow, and their thin walls made the material exchange easier between blood and body cells. Also, white blood cells can move through the walls of capillaries easily. When we talk about the white blood cells, we say it can penetrate the walls of blood vessels or blood platelets or blood capillaries. Yes. This picture show the difference between the arteries, or the connected between the arteries and veins by what? By blood capillaries. By blood capillaries. Yes, there are many blood vessels connected with heart, such as A, we talk about the veins, such as superior vein cava. This veins, it collects the deoxygenated blood from the body parts located above the diaphragm and transport it to the right atrium. Inferior vein cava, it collects deoxygenated blood from the body parts located below the diaphragm and transport to the right atrium. Pulmonary veins, there are 4 pulmonary veins. They collect the deoxygenated blood from the lungs and transport it to the left. Cardiac or coronary veins, coronary, this name from the shape, that's corona shape, and corona is the shape that's of cardiac veins. A group of small veins collect the deoxygenated blood from the heart muscles. These small muscles are connected with each other and form a vein which ends at right atrium. Now, you can discover a thing from these veins. All veins collect the blood and transported it to the right side, except the pulmonary veins collect oxygenated blood from the lungs and transport it to the left atrium. Yes, why? Because the pulmonary veins transport the blood from lungs to the heart, from lungs to be oxygenated blood. Arteries, such as a pulmonary artery, it is transported the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricles to the lungs. It is a branch into 2 parts, and each branch goes to each lungs. And the aorta, it is the largest blood vessels and the most branch vessels. The aorta extends from the left ventricles. It transports oxygenated blood from the heart to the body, to the all body tissue except the lung. Yes. Cardiac or coronary arteries, a pair of small arteries branch from the aorta just as it emerges from the heart. They nourish the heart muscles. This shape explain the most important vessels which connected to the heart: aorta, pulmonary artery, pulmonary veins, superior vein cava, inferior vein cava. Yes. ECG, electrocardiogram. It is a special machine that draws the contraction and relaxation of aorta and ventricles. atria and ventricles, contains electrical pulse which are positioned on the chest, arm, and the legs of the patient. It is important is to give information about heart activities. This is about our lesson today, that's talking about the heart, parts of heart, structure of heart, blood vessels, the kind of blood vessels. We can make comparison between these three types of blood vessels. Yes. Goodbye.